Joining us now on the phone, former Speaker of the House. He knows this process very well. Fox News contributor. By the way, the last speaker to ever balance a budget 4 times. Newt Gingrich is with us. You know this process better than anybody. Okay, we call this a test vote. Can you explain it to people so they understand at home? This doesn't have to pass. What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, first of all, you get to a final point where you've talked and you've talked and you've talked, and you decide to roll the dice. And you say to people, okay, yes or no. You're in public. You can't hide. And your hope is that they will break yes for your side. If they break no, you then can keep the vote open. That's the great power of the majority. You just keep the vote open and keep talking to them. I think the all-time record was converting one member after 7 hours. But I think you work it from that angle. You also communicate clearly that a no vote here for a Republican not only is a vote for the largest tax increase in history, but it's probably a vote to retire. A no vote here on President Trump's biggest domestic policy, the absolute center of his administration, is a vote that is suicidal. And I think that that will be communicated to them in a pretty vivid and direct way. Massey's already experienced this. There's one poll out already that shows he's at 29% for re-election as people back home realize he's anti-Trump. And that's what this, look, in the end, this is real simple for a Republican. President Trump has staked everything on moving the economy, on reforming the government, on freeing up energy, on a whole range of issues in this bill. The people have been working on this bill for 14 months. And you're either on the team or you're not on the team. Is the bill perfect? No, it's not perfect. Is it the best we could get out of the U.S. Senate, which, by the way, remember, had a 50-50 vote with the tie broken by the vice president. So Senator Thune couldn't carry it 1 inch further or it would have failed. Now, you have a choice now as a House Republican. You can take this bill, recognize that there are going to be future bills, there are going to be future executive orders, there are going to be future appropriations, and you can work out an agreement to get the things you need to feel good about voting yes. Or you can be the person who torpedoes the bill and has the entire Republican Party at every level deciding that you shouldn't be in politics. And I think it's going to come right down to that.
When you leave the vote open, if you're a nay now, can you go to yay?
Yes. They had one vote earlier this year where 3 members had voted no, and within 10 minutes, all 3 came back in and switched their vote to yes. And that was a direct result of Trump calling them on their cell phone.
You know, it is pretty amazing, you know, this one big, beautiful bill, and you were an advocate of it because you wanted to get a lot done, and your rationale and explanation I thought was very sound, and that is, you know, Reagan probably, when he first became president, he inherited a horrible economy, and he waited too long to get his top marginal rates reduced from 70 to 28%. It takes a while for that to kick in. With this happening now in early July, a year before midterm, that would give the economy a lot of time to recover. And if I'm right in my belief that peace and prosperity drive elections, a good economy is going to be good for every single member if they want to be reelected or new members that want to come in there. And I look at the things that I really like in this bill. I mean, we're now talking about the largest tax cut in American history, while simultaneously Democrats are voting for the largest tax increase in American history. You know, Republicans are voting for no tax on tips, overtime. They're helping 80-some-odd% of Social Security recipients. That is a big deal. They're the party of working-class Americans. They're the party of older Americans that Democrats have been lying to. And add to that, for example, it would result in if they don't pass this, it would increase taxes on the American people a whopping 62%. of Americans would have a tax increase, a 22% tax hike for the average taxpayer, 43% tax hike for small businesses. That's a lot at stake. And I'm not even talking about securing the border and deporting illegal immigrants. I'm not even talking about reforming education, which has been a disaster. I'm not even talking about, building the next generation of weaponry. I'm not even talking about putting America on a path to energy dominance, and that would lead to a level of prosperity I don't even think we can begin to calculate here tonight. So there's a lot at stake here.
Well, and look, if you're the Democrats, you would love to defeat this bill because you would love to have the biggest tax increase in history, cripple the economy, run for election in 2026 with the economy a disaster. And, you'd be, which is what makes you go nuts about the Republicans who don't get this. The Democrats have a really good reason to want this bill to fail because they want a bad economy. They want open borders. They want big bureaucracies. They believe totally in giving away money to people who refuse to work. So you look at that, I get it. But when I see some Republican who decides that if it's not perfection, as that person defines perfection, then they can't vote yes. I just think it makes me want to tear my hair out because that's not how the American Constitution works. You have 100 senators, 435 House members, a president, and you got to find a way to get the whole system to work together to get anything done. And a Republican who votes no is voting for, I think, a disaster.
All right, stay right there. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.